Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another video of mine. I'm going to preview the Jim Malone Cup. Normally I wouldn't preview this competition actually, but this year I think it's of particular interest. Obviously every year Dundalk take on their loud rivals Drogheda United in this friendly competition. If you win it, you do get a trophy though. Drogheda United have won it actually for the last couple of seasons. This year it's taking place at Oriel Park in Dundalk, and I suppose the interesting fact about this is that they won't play each other in the league this year, so this may be the only time Dundalk and Drogheda face off this year, unless they meet, of course, in the FAI Cup. Of course, they met in the FAI Cup last year too, but it's an interesting one. It's obviously you get a look at Dundalk before they kick off in the first division. You get a look at Drogheda. Drogheda have two games where you can have a good look at them before they actually open their league campaign. At Richmond Park, they take on Shelbourne, obviously the following week at Talca Park in the President's Cup. But this one, there might be a bit of added spice. So I'm expecting a big crowd at this game, and from both sets of supporters, actually. And, you know, Dundalk now have a new manager going into the season. Kieran Kilduff is their manager. Obviously, managed the Athlone women's team, did a good job there. This, for me, is a different kettle of fish, though. He is a former Dundalk player, though, so he knows the club, etc., etc. And look, they've lost a lot of good players, as you would have expected, wouldn't you? John Mountney, Robbie Benson, all those experienced players have left the club. Andy Boyle, Ryan O'Kane, for example, one of the younger players, has left the club. Jade Kiki's another young player has left the club. But they've made some interesting signings. Dean Ebe has come in, obviously striker, top scorer, joint top scorer in the league. Last season in the first division, he's come in. And you know, he'll add to the forward ranks. They'll be hoping to get goals from him. They've got Owen Kenny, obviously a young striker who showed flashes of good stuff in the Premier Division last year. Be interesting to see if they look to play two up front this season generally, and especially on Friday. Will Ebe and Kenny play? They've still kept Daryl Horgan, who captains the side. So they have. He's still at the club. Other players still at the club are A. Dervin, Aaron Mulligan, Vinnie Leonard, Norman Garbert, and Mayowa, who I won't pronounce his second name. So they still have good players here. They've good players here, and there's no doubt they'll be in contention at the top end of the table in the first division. No absolute doubt about that. But yeah, midfield will be interesting. You'd imagine Keith Ward will play in this game. You'd imagine A. Dervin will play in this game too. So that's going to be interesting to see how they get on. Obviously, they've lost the midfielder Paul Doyle also to Drogheda United, which is interesting as well. A very industrious midfielder. But yeah, you'd imagine it'd be a difficult game for Dundalk. The fans will be just looking to hope to see a few bright spots going into the season. They'd love to win it, of course. As for Drogheda United, going into the season, obviously, everybody's professional. Kevin Doherty was full-time professional last year as manager, but now the squad is. And, you know, they've made some interesting signings, I think. They've lost Franz Perrault, who, in my opinion, isn't as big a loss as what people think. That might be a little bit controversial. I don't know. But they've made a lot of additions in the attacking areas of the field. They obviously have Dougie James-Taylor for at least half the season for a start. They've brought in Thomas Alua, who can play up front or on the wing. They've brought in Josh Thomas on loan from Swansea City, who's a pacey player. He can play up front, also on the wing as well. So they've a bit of versatility there. Warren Davis still at the club, who is a striker pretty much. And Boz Anaki is a young player to watch, who's had a decent pre-season as well for Drogheda United. Massive coup in getting Elisha back on loan for half the season as well. Excellent young right back. And Conor Keeley comes back to the club as well, who'll be a huge addition at centre back and give them a commanding presence. They've improved the squad in terms of the full back positions as well. Obviously, I mentioned Elisha. Conor Kane is still at the club, obviously. But Kieran Cruz has come in. He's a good young player from Bray. He'll be a good backup. And Lamb has come in. Not Philip Lamb, Owen Lamb has come in from Orange County in the United States. So they've certainly bulked out their squad there. Now, they have lost some seasoned players like Gary Deegan, Adam Foley, etc. They've left the club. Aaron McNally has also left the club. etc. Emery Topkoo's joined Longford Town. He was with them last season on loan. And Killian Callis has joined UCD. But, they still have players like Shane Farrell who came in obviously late last season, James Bulger at the club, Aaron Harper Bailey. So I think their squad there's a bit of depth in their squad now, I'd have to say. Midfield, like you've got Brennan, Lucchini, you've got Doyle added to that as well. He replaces Deegan, if you like, really, so you've got a bit more legs in there. Obviously, Shane Farrell too. So Markey kind of plays in that position, sort of. He kind of plays between the lines, really, but he can drop back. So they've got interesting options. I think Bozzicani is an interesting one up front. Will he play many games? Will he kick on in the Premier this year? But I would say the squad is actually overall stronger than it was last season, going into next season. So very interesting how they do. The game itself, you'd probably fancy Drogheda to win it. Other years you might have fancied Dundalk to win it on many occasions and they didn't win it. So you don't know. It's a friendly at the end of the day. But I just thought, with this season, not playing each other all season, there might be a bit of extra little spice in this one. And I think it's going to be an interesting game. Drogheda will set up with three at the back, I'm sure. It'd be interesting to see what their setup is up front, I should say. Rather, will they play with two tens? Will they play with two forwards like they did at the back end of last season? And if they do, who plays with Dougie? Because Dougie plays. Do they go with Alua, for example? Do they change it slightly and go with two attacking wide players? Interested to see that. They'll definitely play three at the back and two wing backs. That's for sure. Dundalk, not so sure. I'd imagine they'll go 4-3-3, but I am interested to see if they decide, if both fit, to go with Kenny and Ebby up front, which would mean they wouldn't be playing 4-4-3, to be fair. So it'd be interesting to see if they would go a similar system to Drogheda United. All in all, interesting. Can't wait till the start of the season. I'm sure you can't either. And this just whets the appetite a little bit, I feel. The match itself, prediction-wise, I'll go for Drogheda in an entertaining 3-2 victory. So guys, thanks for watching. Give me a prediction. Let me know what you think of the Drogheda squad and the Dundalk squad, etc. And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.